everyone. Today we are going to be working on outline and contour line drawings. And we're going to just be drawing individual objects for now. Later we'll get into doing compositions that involve multiple objects. So today I'm going to go over outline and contour line. To get started, you are going to need just a standard sheet of paper. You can use your sketchbook or you can use the 9x12 paper in your media pad. In addition to that, I want you to have two pencils. One should be a 2H pencil or similar. This is a very light pencil that's going to leave really kind of ghostly marks on the paper because we're going to use it really lightly. And then I also want you to have a 2B pencil or something similar to that in the B range. This pencil is going to leave the darker lines that I'll use to actually fill in my drawings once I'm done mapping out the shapes of what I'm going to draw. Additionally, I do have an eraser here. This is just your standard white vinyl eraser. And I also have a lovely little pencil sharpener and eraser set. The pencil sharpener is the important part. So let's go ahead and get started. I will be drawing a spray bottle, and so in order to get started with that, first I'm going to do an outline of the spray bottle. And in order to do that outline, I want to map out the general shapes that I'm going to draw first. Now keep in mind, generally I want you to draw this work large enough to fill about half a sheet of paper. So think about filling about this much space. And I'm making that mark here just to make that clear to you how much space I want you to fill. If it helps you have a sense of how large to make something, you're welcome to make that mark on your paper as well, but you don't have to make this mark. So I'm just doing that just to make sure that you guys understand the area that I'm thinking of filling in. Now next, before I actually draw the outline of this form or of the shape, I am going to just generally draw the general shapes. And what this does is it helps me get a general sense of the form of my object. This is just very gestural. It is not a formal finished drawing. I'm just mapping things out and getting specifically the proportion of what I want to create. And as I said, this is really just halos of forms, and I'm really being careful, paying attention to proportion here. And so what I'm already noticing is that the bottle really needs to be a little bit more narrow than what I've created. So in terms of filling in those lines, I might start to make lines a little bit darker and kind of lengthening that bottle a little bit, letting that neck be a little bit longer. Once you map out the general shape, and again, we're talking really light mark making, you can begin to fill out the form. Now, because we're just doing outline, you're only drawing the silhouette. Think about that romantic story that we heard about from the first project video of the self shape, where the lover was so in love with her partner that she drew the silhouette of his body on the wall. That's an outline. So we're really just focusing on the external shapes here. And so what that means is that in order to fill in the outline and really firmly and clearly draw the outline, all that I'm doing is drawing the outside mark making. It doesn't have to be perfect, but strive for something that's relatively symmetrical, or that meets the general proportion of the form that you're drawing. And because I already filled out the general forms here, I'm having a pretty easy time now drawing the outline. The thing that becomes interesting about this exercise is that there are two things that begin to happen when you're drawing an outline drawing. The first thing that begins to happen is that you begin to draw in a way that's basically a continuous line. So notice how I'm not even really picking up my pencil very often. The other thing that begins to happen is you're looking as much at the negative space as the positive space. And so you'll see, especially when I draw this little, the nozzle, the little handle of the sprayer, that's going to be a really interesting shape that's going to be created here. And I'm looking just as much at this shape as I am at the inside of the bottle. And so whenever you're drawing an outline, it's really important to pay attention to that. And I'm noticing that I went a little bit too far here, so I will change that line a little bit to account for that, and that's okay if that happens. Okay. Now that I accomplished my outline, I'm going to delete all of these ghost-like lines that I created, and then I'm also going to get rid of this line up here. Okay,